Disclaimer. The following may contain depictions of violence or graphic senses. Viewer discretion is advised. The episode opens with a blunt statement about violence, comparing it to a truck that can strike unexpectedly and indiscriminately. We are then introduced to Chomin Huang, who is being bullied by Chang Hui Han. Chang Hui greets Chomin by calling him an idiot and questioning why he hasn't gotten his hair cut before slapping him. Chang Hui then raises his hand to slap Chomin, but gets stopped by him, catching him by surprise. Chang Hui's friend comments on Chomin's unusual bravery, while Chomin assesses Chang Hui's short height of just 5 feet and considers using his own height advantage to fight back. However, before Chomin can act, Seoksu Kang arrives and punches him hard, accusing Chomin of thinking he's tough and questioning him if he considers himself a bully. This incident attracts a crowd of students who contemplate whether bullies still exist. Chomin reflects that school is a small-scale version of society, where the group dynamic is overpowering and the individual is often helpless against it. Seoksu then taunts Chang Hui, calling himself a real man who can end fights with one punch. Meanwhile, Chang Hui walks up to Chomin and mockingly asks him if he is a secret kung fu master for daring to hold his hand. The scene then shifts to Minguk Song, who is furious that Chang Hui, whom he deems lucky for his elementary school friendships, has become too much to handle. Song expresses a desire to punch Chang Hui and hopes he gets hit by a car. Chomin advises Song to be quiet, fearing consequences, but Song persists. However, Chomin reminds Song that there is nothing that they can do about this. Song then reveals to Chomin about him taking kickboxing lessons and suggests that he teach those bullies a lesson once he is ready. Chomin, skeptical, asks if Song thinks they can stand up to the bullies just by training. Song mentions involving Chomin's elder brother Mujie in their plans. Chomin recalls seeking help from Mujie, who dismissed him harshly, telling him to die for being weak and forbidding him from revealing their family connection. This memory is painful for Chomin, highlighting the tense relationship with his brother, who has been absent for years. The story then shifts to the present, where Chomin receives a call informing him of his brother Mujie's death. It turns out that Mujie had been hit by a truck while biking on a highway. At the hospital, Chomin identifies his brother's body. A hospital employee expresses relief that Chomin can be contacted since they were worried about finding Mujie's family members. An officer then explains the circumstances of Mujie's accident. Chomin leaves the hospital silently, ignoring the officer's queries about the funeral and a box of Mujie's belongings. He eventually looks through the box, where he finds a phone. Chomin then receives a message on Mujie's phone and discovers numerous texts, including one from Seoksu. Chang Hui appears, taunting Chomin and knocking over the box. In a fit of rage, Chomin attacks Chang Hui, leaving him badly beaten and fearing Chang Hui might be dead. Seoksu then arrives and punches Chomin, demanding an explanation. As Chomin considers running away, a biker suddenly hits Seoksu with a baseball bat. Seoksu is confused, asking why he's being targeted. The biker, acting on orders from their boss, says Seoksu deserves to die. Chomin realizes the biker is linked to the messages on his brother's phone. The biker and his gang surround Seoksu, explaining that they follow the boss's orders without question. As the gang attacks Seoksu, Chomin reflects on the power dynamics he's witnessed. Individuals are helpless against groups, and smaller groups are crushed by larger ones. He then sees a message on his brother's phone confirming the gang's successful attack on Seoksu and smiles evilly, deciding to exploit this newfound power in the future as well. We see the Imperial gang, and one person from that gang comments that no one would have thought that the boss would get the entire gang together to teach a lesson to a boy, since he rarely calls all of them together. A guy responds, acknowledging the boss's temper and stating that they have now shown a child what happens when you trouble the boss of the Imperial gang. The scene shifts to the next day at school. Chomin questions whether the documentary narrator's voice is really necessary. He then thinks to himself that he has all the information about it being a high school battleground and asks Song to just tell him about the Imperial Gang. Song explains that it is a high school battleground, a pork cutlet, and the Imperial Gang, half of a pork cutlet. He clarifies that half of that place is under the control of the Imperial Corps, and the Imperial Gang is the biggest in the area, controlling half of the high schools in the city. Hearing this, Chomin realizes he has no interest in all these things, but now he is left in this world by his brother. He comes to understand that a big gang is running half of the city, and that it is his brother's Imperial Gang. The two then see Do-haeon Gwan throwing food at a boy, and Song gets very angry. Chomin stops him, telling him to calm down because they can't do anything. Later, Chomin and Song help the boy clean the plates, with Chomin suggesting that if all three of them do it together, it won't take much time. Thereafter, the boy introduces himself as Docile Kim. The scene shifts to Chomin and Song walking outside the school. Song asks Chomin what has happened to him, expressing that it feels like he's ignoring everything. Chomin replies that he is doing this because they can't do anything against them. Do-haeon looks at them and calls them over. He throws Chomin on the ground and kicks him while Do-haeon's brother punches Song. Thereafter, Chomin reflects that it doesn't matter that Seoksu and Changhui are gone, as the school is still full of bullies. Do-haeon then tells Chomin to become his chair. Very soon, Song rebels against Do-haeon, declaring that he will not step back. Do-haeon's friend moves forward to punch Song, but he quickly gives him a strong punch. Song shouts that it would be better for them to stay away from him. Do-haeon then hits him with a strong punch, and Song tries to punch back, but Do-haeon dodges and gives him a strong kick. He grabs Song's collar and punches him in the face, dropping the edge of the cigarette. Chomin tells Do-haeon to stop, leading Do-haeon to question if he wants to fight. Chomin replies that he does not, causing Chomin to sit in a posture for Do-haeon to sit on him. Do-haeon declares that from today onwards, Chomin is his personal chair, and walks away. As he leaves, the two, Chomin and Song, wonder what to do with Do-haeon, leading Chomin to suggest forming a gang. He further proposes to gather as many people as possible. The next day, Chomin sits in his seat and thinks that his brother is dead and that he is the only one who knows about it. He then looks at his brother's phone. Song opens the door of the class and tells Chomin to come with him as a large crowd gathers outside the classroom. Chomin and Song see Do-haeon Gwan sitting on Kim. Do-haeon asks Kim if he is comfortable sitting on him. Suddenly, Do-haeon's friend runs towards him and questions what he is doing, pushing Kim and making him fall. In exchange, Do-haeon gives a strong punch to his friend and asks why he did this, questioning if he is trying to kill him. It appears that Do-haeon has been brutally beaten. Chomin thinks that the Imperial boss's eyes are everywhere. Later, at 1 in the afternoon, Do-haeon is running naked on the track. All this is because Chomin uses his elder brother's phone. He gets excited, thinking that he can do this again. After this, the scene shifts, and we see a boy running in the street because the Imperial Gang is chasing him. When the boy runs a little further ahead, two boys from the Imperial Gang come in front of him. One of them tells him to stop running, asking why he is running away. The boy explains that it was because they were chasing him. The gang members finally catch up to the boy and give him a good beating, leaving him there. It is then revealed that they also beat Do-yun Hong badly and kick Changhui, throwing him down from there. After this, we see the Imperial Gang chasing a boy on a bike. The boy wonders why these people are chasing him. Then a biker comes from the front and hits the boy with a baseball bat, saying it is a strike. The scene shifts, and we are shown a home run. There, we see Minjo-gu, who comments that a total of 21 first-year corp members were taken out by the Imperial Gang last week, asking Gaeon-hu what he has to say about this. He replies, questioning what is happening with the Imperial Gang as they never cared for them before. Minjo expresses that he feels they might be humiliating them because they are not part of the union. Gaeon-hu asks if they are trying to take over the high school. Minjo suggests that maybe they need to join the union. Gaeonhu agrees, saying that would be fine. Soon, the shop owner arrives and tells them to just look at the smoke, pointing out the no smoking sign there. Both of them ignore him. The shopkeeper continues, causing Gaeonhu to punch him hard, and after putting a can in his mouth, tells him to shut his mouth. Minjo then tells Gaeonhu to bring that arrogant first-year student to him. The scene shifts, and we see Chomin and Song inside the school. There, Chomin reveals that he has heard Do-haeon is in the hospital now. Song asks what happened to him suddenly. Chomin responds that it doesn't make a difference. He then bids farewell to Chomin and leaves. We then see two students, one of whom runs away with his friend's phone and collides with a boy. The scene transitions to a classroom where we see Chomin. Chomin looks at his brother's phone and reflects that they took care of Minsang 02, which is good. However, he realizes that it is not over yet, noting that last week, 20 high school members were kicked out of first-year First Corp members. He acknowledges that there is still a lot of trouble in this school. With the Imperial Gang, he believes he can take care of the remaining bullies. Soon, a boy comes into the classroom and tells Chomin that the teacher wants to meet him in the office. As soon as he comes out of the classroom, a boy is standing there with another little boy. The boy then takes Chomin with him. Along with Chomin, some other students also stand in front of Minjo. The boy who brought Chomin there tells Minjo that he has brought all of them there, as instructed. Seeing all this, Chomin wonders what is going on. Minjo then introduces himself, saying that he is in the third year, and explaining that he called them there because recently there have been a lot of attacks happening in the first year. He wants to figure out who is behind it. Chomin gets very nervous after hearing this. Minjo continues, stating that he is sure one of them is behind all this happening. We are shown a flashback where Gaeonhu asks Minjo what he plans to do with so many cowards in the school. Minjo replies that he is already suspicious and has made a list of first-year Do-haeon. He reminds Gaeonhu about Do-haeon running naked on the field track and believes that it was the Imperial Gang's doing. They can start theorizing from that day about who the culprit is. The flashback ends, and Minjo continues, giving them a chance to confess. All the students remain silent, not giving any answer to what Minjo has said. This causes Minjo to decide to start from the first row, instructing them to take out their phones from their pockets. Chomin thinks about what he should do now, realizing that if he gets caught, he has no option, and they will kill him. He wonders if he should order the Imperial Gang to create a scene in the high school auditorium, but worries that they might notice him while taking out the phone. Chomin decides to try it after seeing no other way. But as soon as he messages the Imperial Gang, Minjo suddenly appears in front of Chomin, asking what he is doing, making him nervous. Minjo questions Chomin once again about what he is doing, even though he asked everyone not to use their phones. Minjo asks if Chomin thinks he is joking. Meanwhile, Chomin's mind is racing, followed by Minjo to pressure Chomin into confession for contacting the Imperial Gang. Minjo's friend tells Chomin it would be better for him to hand over his phone. He grabs Chomin's hand and is about to hit him when suddenly Kim admits that he did all of it and asks them to leave Chomin alone. Hearing this, Minjo's friend releases Chomin's hand. He turns to Kim and asks what he just said. Kim confirms while asking for forgiveness, explaining that he did this because he hated those bullies and asked for help from the Imperial Gang. After hearing this, Minjo thinks about how he did not tell the people who were behind these attacks, but this boy knows it is the Imperial Gang, making him realize that is possible for Kim to be the culprit. Suddenly, Minjo turns back and snatches Chomin's phone but finds nothing there. Minjo then checks Kim's phone but finds nothing there as well. Kim reveals that he has deleted all the messages. The suspicion grows even stronger as Minjo's friend hits Kim's face very hard. Minjo tells Kim that it is quite impressive for a weakling like him to contact the Imperial Gang, but advises him to get ready for his punishment. Minjo gives a strong punch to Kim and tells the rest of the students to get out of there. Next, we see a guy seeing that his boss has left the chat, wondering if it is an error. Later, we see a teacher who tells Chomin that he is supposed to come at lunchtime and asks why he is so late. Chomin apologizes, saying he forgot. The teacher hands him some papers and tells him to take the handouts and put them on everyone's desk. As Chomin leaves with the handouts, Song approaches and asks why he went there. Chomin explains that he did not go there himself. A boy named Minjo forcefully called him to the auditorium. Thereafter, Song reveals that Minjo has already killed someone. In the 8th grade, he killed a boy in his class because he smelled bad. After that, Minjo gets others to do his dirty work, and now he is using the first corp leader, Gaeonhu. Chomin then suddenly remembers Kim not returning yet, leading him to quickly reach the basketball court, where everyone was called earlier. After looking around, Chomin doesn't see Kim anywhere, until his eyes fall on the door of the storeroom. As soon as he opens the door and enters, he sees Kim in a very bad condition. Chomin quickly goes to Kim and wakes him up, asking if he is okay. After waking up, Kim gets questioned as to why he lied. Kim then reveals that he was aware it was Chomin's doing, contacting the Imperial Gang. He further explains that the day Do-haeon was behaving strangely, he went to find Chomin. When he went to the roof, he saw Chomin looking at Do-haeon running on the track and talking to himself. Hearing all this, Chomin gets very nervous and thinks he should have been careful and not gotten too excited. Chomin apologizes to Kim, saying that because of him, he had to face all this. Kim tells him it is okay and that he shouldn't worry. Kim explains that everyone else was laughing at him and ignoring him, but Chomin extended his hand to help him. Due to this, Kim has become the sheep for Chomin and assures him that he won't tell anyone about this. The bell soon rings, and Kim tells Chomin that he will be taken to a guy named Gaeonhu after school. Chomin then starts to untie, leading him to protest, but gets ignored by Chomin, who unties him anyway. After this, we see a teacher taking the class, when suddenly the door opens, taking everyone by surprise. It is the Imperial Gang who has barged in after receiving Chomin's message to take care of Minjo. As soon as Minjo opens his eyes, one of the gang members questions him if he is ready to have some fun. The teacher and all the students appear very shocked. Minjo asks who dares to do this, followed by the gang member hitting Minjo on the head with a fire extinguisher. Minjo is even thrown down from the desk. After this, a student of the school moves forward to attack Minjo, but Minjo punches him very easily, and the boy falls far away. We then see that the Imperial Gang is beating Minjo, making him lie on the ground. Meanwhile, the teacher has come out of the classroom and is calling the police, asking them to come quickly. Meanwhile, the students in the class adjacent to this one appear to be hearing all this disturbance, leaving them wondering where all this noise is coming from. Then we see Gaeonhu, who tells the boy sitting in front of him to stop shouting. Simultaneously, we see that a boy from the Imperial Gang kicks Minjo very hard. Minjo, sitting on one side, nervously asks them to stop. Then, a boy from the Imperial Gang says they need to take her picture. Earlier, Minjo was dominating the school because of the first corps, but now he is begging for his life. After this, we see a guy from the Imperial Gang clicking Minjo's photo and saying that the boss will be very happy to see this. As soon as the guy says this, a hand slowly approaches his shoulder. With a heavy voice, the guy is asked about his daringness due to the humiliation of Minjo. A strong punch then lands on the guy, sending him flying out of the window. After this, Gaeonhu punches the others too. Then, a guy from the Imperial Gang attempts to punch Gaeonhu, but he dodges his punch, returns the guy with a strong punch, and then kicks another guy. At the same time, he grabs one of the gang members' face and throws it straight onto the floor, shouting at them. After all this happens, we see a daring young guy from the Imperial Gang arriving from behind and grabbing Gaeonhu's throat. Gaeonhu asks why they are doing all this. The boy standing in front of Gaeonhu says they are just following the orders of the boss. Shortly after, the police come to the school, and they arrest all the boys of the Imperial Gang and take them away in an ambulance. When they are taking Minjo, Song is very nervous and wonders if the Imperial Gang is really going to take over their school, expressing fear about this. Hearing this, Chomin thinks that this might be the case as he plans to get the Imperial Gang to take over the school and then control the situation the way he wants. After this, we see Song again, who is skeptical that all this is because of Gaeonhu, who had taken the Imperial Gang for granted. After hearing this, Chomin wonders if Gaeonhu really defeated all the gang members from the Imperial Gang single-handedly. Soon, the members of the second and third years come to the window and shout, asking what happened and why the Imperial Gang is here. Thereupon, Gaeonhu announces that the Imperial Gang has attacked them. He further states that all of this has been done by the members of the Imperial Gang. They have killed Minjo because of the orders of a scoundrel. They have humiliated them. So now they will not let it go like this. After hearing all this, Chomin thinks that Minjo may be the brain behind the first core, but in the end, all the bullies of this school stand behind Gaeonhu. He realizes that Gaeonhu is the one that needs to be eliminated to end his gang. The scene then shifts, and we see a guy looking at his phone, noticing that his boss is acting very strange. Moreover, he wonders why his boss is giving them fun orders lately, presumably thinking of Chomin's brother. If we can get the amount of likes shown here, I will upload next episode as soon as I can. Please leave any feedback on the comments below. So with that, I want to say, thanks for watching, hoped you enjoyed. See you guys later.